G'day, battlers, and today we're jumping back into the Psychic Cup, which is not a meta I've talked about in over a year now, I think, and there's sort of been two major changes to the Psychic Cup that have happened since then, that have really changed the way that the Psychic Cup is played. Before we get into that though, I do want to mention that if you haven't checked out my World Championship vlog from Yokohama, Japan, that's going to be linked sort of up there and in the description as well, so please do check that out when you get some time, immediately after this video, or now, you know. Who needs this video, right? Psychic Cup, it's ages away. It's days away. So yeah, check that out when you can. But we also have the Psychic Cup here, which is probably one of the easiest cups to understand in Pokemon Go history. Is Psychic types in the Great League, and that's about it. There is a ban on Mew, which is a little bit weird to me because there are Pokemon that are better than Mew now that are just not banned, so I'm not sure if it's just a saving TMs thing, like maybe it's just giving us mercy to not have to burn our charge TMs in this 2-week period. I'm not sure, but Mew is banned, and we're running from September 16th through to September 30th, but the first week has a 4x dust bonus on it, the second one doesn't, so probably do most of your sort of hardcore try-harding up here so you can sort of maximize your dust gains. And yeah, I guess we can just get into it. And while I'm clicking the button, oh, I clicked the wrong button. No, I didn't. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Hiya! We've got the thingo. And for the thumbnail, and we are in a sort of new house, new space. We actually have room to put the green screen up, so there'll be some playing around with how this sort of looks in the future, and probably not have a portal. But anyway, we've got the Psychic Cup here. We've got 4 main groups on the graphic, and then we have some other picks that I'll talk about how you might want to use maybe in this cup. Probably less recommended than in other cups. But anyway, 4 main groups. In the top left-hand corner, we have Galarian Slowking, one of the brand new picks that is dominating the meta. Really just destroyed it a couple months back when Psychic Cup was running immediately after the Slows Community Day. So you've got Hex and Shadow Ball, which just, if you just think about that as a combo in a meta full of Psychic types, that is obviously going to be incredibly powerful. But you pair that up with its Community Day move Surf, a spammy charge move, it is just dominant. It is really, really difficult to beat. I guess we'll actually go through the four groups on the graphic first. Top right-hand corner, we have the sort of dark type damage users. So we have Bruxish with Bite, which was the other major addition since the first time Psychic type cup came around. And we also have the Malamar in there, the sort of traditional Kingpin who had that Psycho Cut foul play, really to spammy action. Bottom left, we have Bronzong, Jirachi, and Victini, sort of the anti-fairy type users, if you will. And then in the bottom right, we do have the fairy types, the Gardevoir and the Galarian Rapidash, who are really there to sort of counter the Malamar and the Bruxish. So, yeah. Galarian Slowbro, Slowking, really difficult to sort of handle, and that is where the dark type users really have even more sort of stock than they did in the past with Bruxish and Malamar. So Bruxish, just bite all the way through. Bite in this cup, really dominant. Don't have a dark charge move, but with how much damage Bite does, you're okay. So these two are really sort of even more important to bring, so you can counter that Galarian Slowking, which in turn means that you need to counter the dark type users, and that is where Galarian Rapidash and Gardevoir come in. Gardevoir going in with Charm. It did get 2 new moves this season with Trailblaze as a fast, Magical Leaf, as a fast move, and then Triple Axle as a charge move. Neither of these 2 moves are really making much of a movement on this particular meta. I think Charm is still just the way to go to blast through Malamar, blast through, not Bruxish as much because it doesn't actually have the dark typing, but you know, it's still in there. Charm is always going to be really good, and it is here as well. Galarian Rapidash, a little bit more on the charge move side with Psycho Cut, Fairy Wind as a fast charging fast move, but yeah, fairy types are to counter the dark types counter the Slowking, and then we just sort of have that bottom left group that is a bit more of a fairy counter. But Galarian Slowking, because you have the poison typing as well, it does a really good job at countering those two anyway. So you know, that's like the core meta in a nutshell. It's going to look really similar to that pretty consistently. We do have some alternatives though, like we have Cresselia, who is just really bulky and has access to the fairy type Moonblast. If you want to go that way, you can, but again, you're really, really weak to the sort of Galarian Slowking, so you're in a bit of trouble there. We have Alolan Raichu, who, if you can land a Wild Charge on anything, you're in a pretty decent spot. So it's really good neutral damage, I guess. But again, Galarian Slowking meta hurts it a little bit, and it's just a little bit too squishy when there's a lot of shields that you might want to be spending elsewhere, like on some potential Shadow Balls from a Galarian Slowking. You've got Slowbro, Kanto Slowbro, who also got that Surf Community Day move. With Water Gun, it's all right. It's actually sort of a decent neutral pick, and especially if you're sort of someone who doesn't have a lot of options to play with in this meta, Slowbro could sort of work out pretty decently for you, because it is sort of nice. Delphox is kind of just a worse Victini in my own opinion. You've got some extra fire type damage in there. You do have Mystical Fire as a charge move, and you're not debuffing yourself either. So with you've got Blast Burn, so it's a good Pokemon if you really want that fire coverage, if you're just seeing steals everywhere. But again, moving into sort of what the meta looks like nowadays, I don't think Delphox is as good as it maybe used to be, if it ever really used to be good. I'm not sure I would go that far. We do have Hypno, who has access to Shadow Ball. Unfortunately, Hypno, as much as it had that sort of going for it, that it had this Shadow Ball, even though you were slow charging with Zen Headbutt or Confusion, now that we have Galarian Slowking, why would you use Shadow Baller that takes longer to get to Shadow Ball than something that can do super effective damage with the fast move while also getting to Shadow Ball pretty quick? So Galarian Slowking is just better than Hypno, essentially. And then you have Medicham, who is just really bulky. You don't really have a lot of utility as far as any moves that are really good against the Cup. You're not going to be running Psychic, so it's been sort of technically nerfed anyway, but it doesn't even matter in this Cup. You're still just going to be running probably Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch. You could maybe throw Power Up Punch in there, maybe, against something like I don't know. It's there. It's an option. You can use it. And then we also have one sneaking little Pokemon in there in the alternative spot. Slowpoke. It's still eligible, guys. So, consider it. Is it going to do anything good for you? Probably not, but you never know, and real trainers use their favorites. But with that said, that's about all I've got to say about the sort of 2023 version update of the Psychic Cup meta. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially the subscribe one. Thank you to Patreons, and of course, check out the vlog in the thingo down below. And I've got some playing to do with this portal. So, whoa.